Rachel Scott is the author of Birthing God's Mighty Warriors, and she is the mother of 8 children. Rachel, welcome back once again. You know, what do you think is most misunderstood about this Quiverful movement, which is really designed, as I understand it, to just let people sort of have as many children as God wants them to have without standing in the way of that process in any way?
That is exactly what it is. It's just God's way of calling people back to the biblical mandate. God said in Genesis 1:28, He said it to all mankind, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth with more people so that we could replenish the earth. And unfortunately, in the last 40 years specifically, we have turned to multiple choices of contraceptive, and we have stopped birthing children the way that we used to for the last 5,000 years. Quiverful is just a way to say, hey, we need to come back to the original plan. Let's start enjoying families again, and let's start welcoming children.
You know, I was reading some quotes from one of the fathers in the movement. I'm not sure if it was your husband or another husband who's in the movement. And he said, you know, I'm going to raise my sons to be leaders and my daughters to marry and have children. Do you believe that daughters have that sole purpose in life?
You know, if you look into the Bible, the Proverbs 31 woman had children, but boy, did she do everything else. She sat with her husband, she helped him, she took care of her children, she had a field, a vineyard, she made money, she brought her food from afar. She was a businesswoman as much as a mother. The Bible, people misunderstand that the Bible is all about women just sitting at home birthing babies. God definitely has given that responsibility and role to women because it brings us great joy and happiness. The Bible is certainly not against women doing other things with their lives as well. But when women are having their children, it is nice to be able to be home and be with them during those years.
You know, when you look at the Catholic religion or the Jewish religion, this is not a novel idea. Both of those religions have said, you know, over the course of their history, is that it's part of continuing the religion to allow people to have as many children as they can to keep the religion alive, right?
Yes, that has been what people understand. And yes, the Protestants have been in great sin in this area. Ever since 1930, the Protestants left that biblical understanding and started using birth control. And for the last 75 years, basically, have not been following that. So that is true. That is what the Bible teaches.
So how do you answer those, you know, who just say, look, you have to allow people to have control over their reproductive life, and, you know, they may or may not be ready for children, they may or may not be able to support them. That's one of the main arguments that I've heard when we've been discussing this.
Well, yes, I agree with that. I believe that every single person needs to seek God. What's most important here, Martha, for you to understand is we have been looking at 75 years of Protestants not getting proper understanding of what God was calling us to do. So we have to come all the way back to what was the original purpose and plan for man and woman? What was the original purpose and plan for marriage? And what is God asking us to do in marriage? Well, He's asking us to love our spouses, but also to be productive and to birth children. Not because God's trying to put a yoke of bondage on us. He's trying to say, hey, hello, this is what's going to make you happy in life. Enjoy your families. And so God's calling us back to that original plan. That's what's going on here with this whole movement.
All right, Rachel, very interesting to talk to you. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Martha.